Welcome to Lunch and Learn Zoom Friday. We're so glad that you're here. My name is Nancy Gaskins, and I'll be your host today. And I'd like to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way and then have a little bit of brainstorming session with you. Been working on where we go from here. You know, I've had a lot of stuff going on, and we've got the pig group, we've got this group, we've got Tuesdays, we've got Fridays. And so what I've decided to do is simplify this whole thing. And I hope y'all don't mind, and I'm open for your feedback. But here's what I'm thinking is we have every single thing under one umbrella, and then you can pick and choose what you want to participate in. But there's only going to be one membership, and the goal will be to get it where we're only doing a membership drive 2 times a year. Now that's going to take me a while to get there, but I'm thinking, you know, January for the first of the year, and then maybe May, June for the second part. That way we don't be, you know, I don't have to be out here trying to get members, and we can focus on doing what we want to do, which is build our businesses and build wealth. So that's the first thing. And for the new model going forward, I think I don't have real good participation on Tuesdays, you know, and everybody's busy and all of that stuff. And so I'm thinking, let's just move everything to Fridays and let's do what we were doing before. For example, week 1, I'm thinking let's do networking and relationship building. And this would be where we can invite guests. So this would be our one time a month where guests are welcome to come. And again, they can visit, let's just say 2 times before they join our team. But that would be a way that we can get back into our networking and meeting new people. And you can feel good about inviting, because you know that's what we'll be doing on the first week of each month. And then week 2, we would still do masterminding. But if we don't have any business problems or anything like that that we want to work out amongst ourselves, we can have some workshop sessions. So for example, if you wanted to build that funnel, or if we wanted to do XYZ, we can decide as a group what kind of things that we want to be doing. And this would give us an hour and a half the second week of the month to focus and work together on doing some of this stuff for our business. I know you're busy, but we really need to get serious about, if we say we're going to be doing something, let's do it. And that would give you a time period, a slot that you would know would be set aside for workshops or masterminds. And then for the masterminds, let's think about the business problems that you're facing, anything current or anything that you see coming up. What would you like some help with? And then if you can let me know in advance, then we can possibly, you know, get some experts in here to kind of help us work through that. But I really want that to be more like a working lunch per se, where we work on our business, our individual businesses inside the group, and we can get help from one another. And then week 3 would be the pig group. That's where we do our meeting, where we talk about wealth building, bring in new projects, etc. And then on week 4, this is where we would have guest speakers. This would be open for personal and professional development. And so we would need subject matter experts to come in. And that way we would know the fourth Friday of every month, this is what you can expect. And that would be a little bit more clear for everybody. You would know in advance what to expect. And I just think that would be better, you know, and then everybody is a part of the whole thing. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But anyways, I'll open the floor up for discussion. What do y'all think about that idea?
Nancy, I love the idea.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and then
right.
the occasional,
Split the membership into twice a year. Do it twice a year, January 1st, July 1st. That way we don't have to remember that it's not really on a 6-month basis.
Okay. Say that again, Barry.
Hey, Kate, can you mute yourself? I think there's some background noise coming from your, thank you.
Oh, great. So if you're going to have the membership be twice a year, so that we don't have to remember that it's not on a 6-month period, do January and July.
Okay, what I meant by that, just to be clear, is that would be the only open window time that somebody could join. Not, so you're still a year. So when you join, you still are joining for a year, but when you join January, you know, it'd be for 12 months from that point on. And then if you joined in July, let's just say, or June, it would be from June to June, you know, or May 31st or whatever. You'd still be a year membership, but instead of allowing, you know, every single month thinking that people are going to be joining and having to keep track of everybody's membership dates and all of that stuff, we would know that we would have, let's just say, call it open enrollment. We've got open enrollment coming up. You know, we would announce it, let's just say in May, for June to May 30th. And then we would announce it in December. Okay, we've got open enrollment. So if you want to join for January to December 31st, keep it on the calendar year for those who want to do that, then we could do that. Does that make sense, Barry?
I have,
Go ahead, Kate.
my thought is that if someone wanted to join at a different time, if we wanted to keep it all organized as far as for what the charges, when they'd be, is to just charge them for the rest of the year so that they're paying for whatever section is left for that year, and then their next fee would be at that time. And that way you wouldn't limit someone wanting to join.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Especially with people who come for 2 visits, and let's say somebody comes in February for their 2 visits and then they have to join. That way they wouldn't have to wait until June or whatever to join. They could go ahead and join and prorate it or whatever to make it happen. That way at least, you know, they're not sitting back and forget about it altogether.
Right. Right.
Okay,
And we might just have, you know, allow them to join, but just have our major pushes where we do advertising and all that, because this is the model that I'm moving to, and I'll tell you about that here in just a minute. I don't want to be like, I don't want to say stressed out, but, you know, working so hard to build up membership when our focus should be building our businesses and doing our wealth building, if that makes sense. So love both of those ideas, and I'll look into that about how that pro rata, you know, might look like. Anybody else have any comments on that? Okay, we will work on the topics, because this is going to be very important, because each one of us is in a different place. But I do need your feedback on what are some things that you would like to learn. Think of, you know, future oriented. You're here right now with your business. So what do you need help with right now? And then forward thinking, I want you to think about what do you need in the future? Where you want to go to the next level, so that we can get a head start on that. And get some things in line, so that when you get there, you'll have the tips, tools, and resources to be able to do that.
I would like to jump in and say how to pivot.
Okay.
And that can, I don't know how that would look, but that just popped up for me, how to pivot.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm still some of the tax implications from the crypto.
Yes. Kate, did you have something?
I think that's actually, I want to say something else, but I want to also add on to Gary's, and that is with what Kelly does, for her to be able to explain it more for people and the impact that it has on their taxation. She would have a lot of really great information to share. So not just her, but, you know, people in that realm. The one thing that is always something for me, sorry, I'm speaking too loudly here, is for updates on technology to help us to reduce workload, like to get more efficient, because it's changing so fast all the time that for people to come in that are experts, that are simplification experts, like, you know, it's like, let's automate.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a big area that I have been struggling with. You know, I hired some people to do some work, you know, a while back and didn't get it done. And I've just, you know, got frustrated. And I know, you know, there's people that's out here doing this and it makes it really easy. And it just blows my mind. So we definitely need those tips, tools, and resources. And we need it to be affordable. You know, we don't need to be paying 50,000 different platforms to do what maybe just a couple of platforms can do. And so we need to stay on top of that. So I like that. Anybody else?
I think the you know, all the different systems and tools and that, I think I've mentioned this before, is like, it's not going to do anybody any good if they don't have the I guess consistency to actually utilize them. So just anybody that has the tips on how to stay consistent and, you know, get that shifting that mindset, so to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because there's a variety of different systems and tools out there that, you know, one might work better for one of us and then the other, but it's just, no matter what we use, as long as we're being consistent.
And you have to use it. And somebody may mention the other day, I think it was in Happy Neighborhood Project, or maybe it was one of my interviews that I did. They said, you know, it's all fine and dandy to go to all of these networking groups and do all this stuff. But he said, I do remember now who it was. He said, but you would be surprised how many people will not follow up. They're in there and they say they're there for networking, but they don't never follow up. And even if you send them a message sometimes and they're like, if you don't have time to follow up and do what you said you're there to do, why do it?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you're exactly right. Yes.
I actually had a whole list of, I mean, I've been there a few times, an entire list of people that said they wanted to have a conversation. Not one had a conversation.
Well, I've had good luck over there, but it just, you know, I'm kind of probably the in your face person or whatever, and love to do it. And so maybe I'm a little bit more, but it just blows my mind. You know, don't come in and say you're there for networking and meeting people, and then don't do that. I forgot to ask you, Bruce, are you feeling better?
Yeah, I still got the sinus issues going on. I've had that post-nasal drip for years, and this has really exaggerated it. It's just traveling across country, it always wipes me out anyway. And it's just with the combination of the heat and walking around in the heat there at Disney World. I mean, there's just it wiped me out for quite a bit. And that, but I had a blast while I was there.
Good deal. Good deal. On trying to think of some other areas that we might want to explore for our business. I know most of us are in some type of direct sales, you know, affiliate kind of minded. So we're used to all of that, but I don't know if there's anything in that series of skill sets that we might need to hone in on to grow our businesses a little bit better if we're in, you know, that space. And it doesn't really matter when you think about it. Don't matter what kind of business we're in, you still have to go through the process. We still have to generate leads. We have to do something with those leads. We have to segment them, and we have to follow up. And one of the most interesting things was I was listening to some training this week, and they said, y'all are doing too much time. You're not vetting the people to see if they qualify up front. You're spending all of this time with every single person. And I had to stop for a second and, you know, kind of think about it. But I think they were more in tune with bringing people into your funnel, where our focus is a little bit different, because I'm always saying not everybody is what? A customer or a client, but 100% of everybody that you meet should be a referral partner. And so, you know, my mind is wrapped around that, meeting people a little bit different than people who are just strictly out here online trying to build their business, trying to get customers, because we're more relationship oriented, because we're wanting to have people refer for us. And also we want to refer business to people in our group. And so I'm kind of thinking how that might look as far as what we're doing here inside our group as well, when I'm redoing these funnels, because we need to have a way to track. And I don't want to get all number crunchy with you, but I want us to be able to say inside our group, we've given X amount of dollars to each other, or we've done business with one another, or we've referred business to each other. And to me, that's real important, because that is one of our key areas that we say that we are. And so I'm open for some suggestions on what that might look like and how we might do that going forward. Anybody have any ideas on the Meet My Referral Partners idea?
Well, one of the things in the past for in-person networking groups that I was involved with, they used to be part of the BNI group, but they got too small, so it kind of had to go rogue. But we would turn in slips of paper of saying who we refer, if I referred someone to, you know, Marcia, or, you know, what the name was. So we were able to track the referrals that way, as well as then if that resulted in revenue for Marcia, she would turn that in and how much that lead generated. So they were able to track how much revenue was generated for a lead.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how we necessarily don't want this like to be something else for you to track.
Right. Well, one of the things that we might do, just to keep it fresh on everybody's mind, is maybe the first 5 minutes of each session every Friday, I give an option for anybody to say, hey, I connected Kate with XYZ this week, and give you the opportunity, instead of putting numbers to it. That way it's out there. It's being at the forefront of our mind that we need to be introducing people, you know, because that's the first step, is connecting two people together. They might not do business, you know, with one another, but that might be our first step. Let's just say the first few minutes that we do something like that, and start thinking about how we can do that. Or even a shout out, you know, we could say, hey, I shared a post of Bruce's this week for his workshop that he's got coming up. You know, something like that kind of gets us in the mode of, okay, we need to be doing reviews. We need to be referring. We need to be connecting. We need to be doing business with one another. You know,
that's good too, because there's not, maybe, you know, one person has shared their somebody's doing, and others weren't aware of that. So, oh, gee, okay, I can go ahead and share that too. Or...
Right. Jerry, you had something that you were going to say a while ago, and I didn't see your hand till you'd already.
That's all right. No, it was along the same lines. I think, you know, when you first start meetings, or at some point, to have some type of shout out or testimonial along those lines, like I did business with so-and-so, or I referred somebody to so-and-so, or whatever. Or I connected with, had, you know, 3 101s with people in the group this week. Something along those lines.
Yep. And you
That's a good idea too.
And you met some new people.
Right. For me, since I'm relatively new, I mean, it would be good for me to get a listing of members, and, you know, I could reach out, and all of us, I guess, could reach out to members, especially the ones who don't, you know, routinely attend, and maybe it'll spark some more interest to come back and attend if, you know, we reach out for one-on-ones with them.
Good idea.
The Facebook group that we have, if everybody, if we sort of put a plan in place of if you do have events coming up, or if if you want to even share, it's like, you know, who do you know that's looking for this right now? Who do you know? So as a reminder for people, because it's, you know, who do you know that's really busy that would really benefit from having all of their household items delivered to their door? Who do you know that needs this type of service or that type of service? Because I think that that would help people sort of be reminded as to, you know, and it's like you could even put even tips up. This is the type of person that I'm looking for. You know, and if we interacted more in that group, I think it would help us to stay more in tune with, you know, like none of us knows what everybody does and what kind of things that we do, because it's difficult to actually say that.
Well,
We all have such amazing experience in our lives that we touch people in many, many different ways. So that could give us more of a good foundation that way.
Okay. Would you rather us do that on Facebook or the LinkedIn group?
Either or, it's fine. I think LinkedIn would be a good idea because it's a good business page. Like it's a different perspective there. So maybe LinkedIn is a better idea.
Whenever I've got something that I'm sharing or promoting, and that I tend to put it in, at least in the Facebook group, and try to also do it in LinkedIn. But
yeah,
could do both. And so it's really about, again, it's that more to-do list, right? So simplifying and getting into the habit of something is
right. And I don't want to add one more thing to y'all's list either, you know, and that's something else, you know, where I've thought, because people said, y'all really, you have a group, but you also need a page so that people who are not a member can see what y'all are doing. And you know, that does make sense. But then again, here we go. We've got, you know, a page, and then we've got a group, and then we've got this, and we've got that. So
So is it, I mean, as far as the page that's already existing there, I mean, I know on Facebook there used to be these little sections that you could put things, so you could sort of have, everybody could put, you know, what they do, like do a blurb on themselves in a specific area. So if that's there, and then we all have to be responsible for our own, but it is another thing to remember to do, so it's making those lists efficiently.
well, and I would love to have, like we talked about before, having a short video commercial for everybody, you know, that you put on there telling what you do. It's a live, you know, little short, I don't care, 30-second, you know, 1 minute little thing that you do on your phone. Doesn't have to be professional, but that makes it a whole lot more personable instead of just a post, you know.
Right.
And then we could use that, you know, like, you know, meet my friend Marsha LaCour. This watch her video to learn more about what Marsha does. You know, because everybody used to comment on when I was going on that 125 people a week tear, when I was posting all those people that I was meeting. I was constantly getting people saying, that is so neat, man. You are meeting some really interesting people. And, you know, but all I was doing was I had a graphic there, but I'm thinking now if I'd have just a little short clip, that would be even more powerful, you know, for folks that I could use. And then that, you know, would be evergreen. And so we could just kind of rotate through folks and do it at different times and introduce one another to our spheres of influence. But just an idea, I don't know. Y'all think that's a good idea, not a good idea, or don't know, or? Having a video intro?
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody could do like a 30-second, 60-second little video intro and post it on our Facebook group page. Just say, hey, I'm so-and-so, do your little elevator pitch. We are out of practice on that anyway, so this would be a good opportunity to practice it. And you can always delete it and come back and do another one. But, you know, that would be good. And I met somebody this week from Ziggy's Seasonings. And I was really impressed that this young man, he had an elevator pitch down perfect. And he was from Japan. His family was military and he lives here locally. And we was talking about the different struggles that, you know, he had been facing with this seasoning. And I guess he had a family full of health issues and all this stuff. But yet when you wanted to cook the food that they were telling you need to for heart and diabetes and all this stuff, it was really bland. So his family came up with this mixture of seasonings that would work, that was low glycemic, low salt, you know, all this stuff. And so he has decided to market that. So he's got a really great design. The logo and all of that is really good. He's got his message down succinctly. And one of the things that was interesting is he was talking about the legalities involved. Kind of was a struggle about learning, you know, he's under the cottage laws right now. But anyways, my point being is people are in different spots, but yet his message was extremely clear and he didn't even know it was that clear. And I really commended him on that. Is a big step when you're out here trying to get your message out, that people know exactly what it is that you're doing, because people struggle with that. And I think as we get older, I think that's why a lot of us struggle with that, because we have got such a varied background and so many skill sets. And of course, we want to throw up on people and let everybody know everything that we can do. And one of the things that Alan Cussins, which is our upline on a lot of our programs that we're involved in or whatever, but he talks about how you really need to segment and have a clear message for each one of those little areas, depending on what it is that you're promoting at the time, because otherwise people get confused. And when your message is confused, and we've all heard that, they don't know where to go and they'll just leave. So they leave your website, they leave your, you know, won't connect with you or whatever. So we need to make sure that we're doing that. And speaking of connecting, you know, there's some people that have not been in our group in a while, like Jerry was saying, but some are coming back. Like I met with Brenda Sheldrake, I think it was last week. And y'all know her from Selling on the Spot. And I was talking to her about some of the new things that she's got going and invited her to come and rejoin us again. She had a family, you know, pass away and had to go and take care of her father and all of that stuff. And so thank goodness, you know, these are the relationships that we've built over time. And if you stay in those relationships, it may not be that they're not going to buy from you or whatever. It just may be not right now. And you probably heard that as well. So go back and revisit people from 2 years ago, 1 year ago that you have been in contact with, and they might not have wanted your business then, but they might be available now. It might be a good time, you know, and continue to drip on them and stay in touch with and keep that relationship going. Because sometimes we have a tendency, we're meeting all these new people. We have a tendency to keep on wanting to do that instead of really nourishing the relationships that we've built over the last while. And so, you know, those people already know, like, and trust you. So try reaching out to some of those as well.
Yeah, one of the things, like with Laurel, on their marketplace, they do their what's referred to as ask, tell, ask, where they say, hi, I'm Bruce Barnes. I'm a mindset, wellness, and communication expert. You know, this is what are you maybe going through that I might be able to help you with. And so you're asking what, what they might be in the market for. And based on their response, then you can dive deeper into what if you've got one particular product or service, instead of throwing up everything on them, or just pitching one item and diving right into it before you even ask they might already be involved with that same company. I've had that happen several times. They didn't even ask, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm already involved with that.
Well, again, instead of a lot of times now, and it's different when you're in these networking groups where we have to say an elevator pitch, but when you're in that one-on-one, our tendency is just exactly what you said, is just to go into the pitch immediately instead of pre-qualifying them to see what their problems are, where they're at, finding out more about them. And that's the big step that I think a lot of us miss.
Yeah,
And
I had at the Isogenics convention, my sponsor actually ended up bringing a guest, just under one of her extra tickets, but he was the guy that was working the front desk at the hotel that they were staying at. And so they had checked in like a couple days prior to the event, and she just said, I guess he's about the same age as some of her sons. And she asked him, it's like, well, so what's your plans? Do you plan on making this a career here, or what's some of your goals? And he says, no, I'm really interested in exploring my own business, and I'm really into the wellness and that. It's like, well, you might be interested in attending my convention, and he came to it and he just loved it. So, but there again, it was just like, she asked him, it's like, so what's your goals?
Yeah. And how many people are sitting up there at those desks? How many, think about maid service, think about all of those people. How many times have you actually, or you go into a restaurant and you really get, and this is a good one, and I do this occasionally, and I need to be better at it, but you have somebody that gives you really good customer service or whatever. You should be, leaving your business card, have a little business card made up where, you could leave that for them. And, you really did a fantastic job. You're a dynamo person. We're looking for people just like you to join our team.
Yep.
And so what if they don't? I did, what was it? Last week, I got the list for this year so far, updated list on new business license in my region. And I got 5 appointments off of that blind email that I sent. 5 appointments, y'all. And that was not hard at all. That was not a good idea, Kate. We sure could.
What did you get 5 appointments from?
I sent out a blanket email for people who had new business license in our area, new businesses. They had applied for a business license. And luckily for me, I can access that public record. Not everybody puts their email address in there, and some are wrong on purpose, because they don't want spam and all of that stuff. But I was just a short, sweet little message, to them, said, I'd like to meet you one-on-one, basically,
So
for 15-minute meet and greet.
So you did a search on the public records, is what you said you did?
I sent them our
No, I mean,
county. I sent my county a message.
I
sent my county a message, and I said, hey, can you send me the updated list for from January to now? And she said, sure. She sent me an Excel spreadsheet that had their name, their address, their phone number for free.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing
and
too.
I do that occasionally. You can do that with tax rolls too.
Also being a member of Chamber of Commerce, you can get notified of new members that way too.
Yeah.
Can I just piggyback on what Bruce was saying? So that whole point about Nancy, Laurel Langmeyer in the Ask Tell Ask. So if Laurel was doing it and she was in the hospital, she broke her hip or she fell and something happened. And she was talking to everybody. Hi, my name is Laurel Langmeyer and I'm a money expert. How can I help you? From her hospital bed She got business. So that's all
Yeah.
she says. I'm a money expert. How can I help you? So my point is, we can have this conversation from a hospital bed.
Yeah. It's just, we have to be trained and we have to know and be looking for opportunities.
Right.
I
And
mean-
here's the other thing too. She said, you have to listen like it's a sport. And every time they say something, the other person, she is keeping track on her fingers. So she's anchoring in on her fingers. So if they said, let's say they give her 7 pain points and she can do 5, then she's going to focus on one of those 5 pain points and direct them to a product or service that she can help them with. And still bear in mind, there's still 4 other things that she can help them with at a later date.
Yeah, but the point is she's using those, one or more of those pain points to get them into her funnel.
Yes. Yeah.
So you pick one of those anchors and then you direct the ask, tell, ask conversation to one of those.
And then the key after that is to what?
Follow up.
Yes.
Follow up, follow up, follow up.
Follow
So,
up.
to this point, this is extremely important. One of the reasons that I got burnt out of network marketing, and I am reignited about it, but one of the reasons that I got just one, because there was more than one. But one of the things is I hated being on all the time. And like, you want to not, I mean, you want to help people, and yes, we sell, but there's such a fine line between really being sincere in your ask to trying to get another client or another sale. Like, I mean, I loved what I did. I was super excited about it. I didn't know what I was doing. I sold tons of product. But when it came to talking to people about the business, I really didn't know how to do that. I didn't feel comfortable with that aspect of it. And that's really a key. But the other thing that's so important is that in business, and it's not just in network marketing, but in business, and just Marcia was talking about this a few weeks ago. She's like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell. So if I can come from a place of being of service and sincerely ask someone, like if there was one thing that you could choose right now that you could change in your life, what would that be? And be really sincere about it, and be careful as to where your mind and your intention go. Because this is a very fine line, and I know I have been hunted down and harassed by people on more than one occasion. And when someone's truly trying to be of service, the reaction's different. When someone basically, it's like they've made their sale, they're done, that's a totally different story. And so I just got tired of that whole industry and that whole cycle. And I've got somebody right now that's hunting me. I'm like, anyway, she's answering my questions really well, because I'm coming back at her and saying, well, how are you different? Like, what is it that you do? Are you able to have a conversation about what's really going on in the world right now? Like, what are you selling people? If you're selling them the fiat system, I don't want to talk to you. So anyway,
I think, and that's one of the blessings for me for this group, is each and every one of us, we do come from that place, Kate, and I'm so proud of that fact that we have weeded folks out. I mean, we are ambitious, and yes, we want to make a positive impact on the world and all of that stuff, but we all have really good hearts that we do want to help people in whatever aspect it is that we're dealing with in our business. That's why we chose what we did. And there is a difference. And for example, like in my follow-up, I had somebody that, while we're on here right now, she said, I just signed up. Well, she was the lady that I met in Germany several years ago, but I told her, after I gave her the spiel, I said, now listen, I'm not going to harass you or do any of that stuff. That's not what we're about. If you think this is something for you, fine. If not, it's fine. you know, because we're all in different places. And here this morning, just now, I'm ready to sign up. And so I think, not that you want to forget about them, because the proof, you know, it's the fruit is in the follow-up. So you do not want, you know, you want to make sure that you get those touch points and you stay in touch with folks. If even just to ask them how they're doing, you know, that's basically what, you know, Brenda and I did. We just got caught up on what's going on. And I think we're missing a lot of fruit, because we've met a whole lot of people, you know, over the course of the last 2 years. Now it's time to, you know, figure out, and if you haven't done it already, you need to look and see how many customers you need to, or clients, to meet your goal. You know, do you know that number? What's your financial number that you're looking for? Because if you don't have that goal out in front of you, how you know when you're going to achieve it or how far off you are? And that 12-month or 12-week year, if you've not read that book or listened to that audio, it really is incredible on what you can do in 12 weeks. That is intensive focus for 90 days. And if you note, a lot of the challenges that have come on board since the pandemic, you're always hearing about these 30-day challenges, these, you know, whatever challenges. Well, what that is, the reason that's so effective is you have intense focus during a specified number of time, and that gets your momentum built up. And so, you know, that's something to look at as well. You know, you can turn that around and do it in spurts, but just decide, you know, those blocks of time when you're wanting to do that. But, you know, the main thing is, no matter what business, you've got to have leads generated. And so you have to have a way. And, you know, you can't beat your family and friends to death. After a while, you're going to run out of those, you know. So we need to learn how to be referral partners. We need to learn how to meet new people. And what are we going to do with them once we meet them and put them through our funnel? And then how are you going to nurture those people? Because I think that's the key. That's the key right there. Anybody else have anything on that topic, or can you think of, since we've been discussing this, maybe some other topics have come to mind that we would like to explore this year or work on? While you're thinking, Bruce, would you mind sharing like that picture of your brain machine and tell us a little bit more about that, so folks can kind of get an idea of that new gadget that you're promoting? I thought that was super cool.
Oh, is this Brain Tap?
What is so cool about this thing is, go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, Brain
Yes.
Tap. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
brain tap. Yeah. And it's absolutely amazing. It's headphone with the goggles that come down with the light, LED lights in the earpieces as well as in the goggles. And it's tied to an app that's there's sessions on anything you can think of.
Like
And
learning a new language, playing the piano, give me some
golfing,
examples.
improving your golf game, helping you sleep, just more energy, turning procrastination into productivity, just a wide variety of different things. And the LED lights are, you can just get the app and listen to it with earbuds on your phone, but the headphones are synced in, the lights are synced in with the session, and you can control the intensity in that. But I didn't know until I got this, that we have light receptors in our ears that go right to our brain. And that's why they've got lights in the earpieces. So it's also, you've got your eyes closed, but the LED lights in the goggles, you're still getting that visual impact that's also going to the brain. But it's really tapping into the power of your brain, and it's kind of reprogramming it so that you are improving in these different areas.
So how do you use it? I mean, any time of the day, at night, or what's the process?
Yeah, ideally, they say like, couple times a day, and the sessions range anywhere from 10 minutes to like 25 minutes. And it doesn't necessarily matter what time of day. A lot of the one guy says that because there's some morning sessions to kind of wake you up and get you, focused and energized and that. So he likes to use do one of those sessions in the morning when he first wakes up, and then another one to help you wind down and everything just before going to bed. But also, like I tend to do mine like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. You get that it's part of our natural rhythm, and that our body just needs that afternoon dragging of energy, and that this kind of reboots you a little bit. And like there's a series of them for really training your brain to get into that deep sleep, so you get the most out of your sleep. And but it doesn't necessarily matter what time of day you're doing it.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
anyways,
pretty
looks
cool.
like an incredible piece of technology, and it's just amazing to me all the different things that they're coming forward with and to help us.
And part of it too is just increasing your productivity, and there's for actually being able to focus on your business building activity. Yeah, so let me just pull up this app and just like, let's see, addiction recovery, jumpstarting your morning, waking your brain up, bioharmonic technologies, energy clearing, transformation, and abundance, just cellular cleansing, attunement for your cells, all the different states of your brain, the alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma, getting through those.
So typically, how long is like one of the sessions? Like,
well, that's like I said, it depends. Anywhere from 10 minutes to 22 minutes.
Okay.
Or 20,
All right.
or 23 or whatever.
All
But
right. Well, if you
but
have a
there's
link for folks to learn more on that, just so that we're aware of that technology, if you don't mind, if you'll put that in the chat.
That's one of the things that I'm a little annoyed with their particular website, is when you go to the website, they don't have like an overview video.
Oh, okay.
It's just weird to me. They've got several YouTube videos, but it's like they don't have anything on the website.
Yeah, that is a little
just
odd.
But,
Yeah.
So, but they even have a set of stuff for getting the most out of your chiropractic treatments. That's
right. Just, interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, but I'm working on putting some stuff together to add to my website for a section on my website on this, so that I can try to fill the gap that's not on their website.
Right. Well, okay. Well, when you can share something, so we can kind of educate ourselves a little bit about that. Jerry, you want to give us a little bit of spiel on what exactly it is? I had somebody ask me the other day, was trying to, kind of go through our list on people and exactly what they do. You want to give us a little spiel on what you do? And then I also learned that there might be another house here pretty close in my neighborhood for sale. I'm just clamoring at the bits to get money together for some of this real estate. And one of the cool things was you had sent me a message, and I'm going to reply back this week with some addresses. So give us a little overview on what it is exactly that you're doing for folks.
So when somebody buys a residential rental property or a multifamily or a commercial building, say you spend $275,000 on a rental house. The IRS says you depreciate that over 27 and a half years, equal increments. So you got $275,000, you're writing off $10,000 every year as a depreciation expense over the next 27 and a half years until you have depreciated the cost of that property. There's another way to depreciate it, and that is by engaging a cost segregation firm, which is what we do, to come in and break that building apart and put values on the roof and the air conditioning system, the plumbing system, countertops, carpets, decorative molding, a host of other assets. And a lot of those, according to the tax code, can actually be carved out of that long-term depreciation life cycle and depreciated in either 5, 7, or 15 years. So what it does is, and the tax laws today are super friendly, so that when we find those assets that are either 5, 7, or 15 years, we can work with the client's tax professional to apply those calculations that we come up to the return. So we may find an extra $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, $60,000 worth of assets that can be depreciated in the first year of ownership. So what that does, that exponentially increases the amount of deductions the building owner has to offset their income, so they pay way less in taxes.
Yes. And that is, a lot of people don't realize the timing of when you replace things on these rental properties, and all of that stuff determines whether you can write the whole thing off or whether you have to depreciate that thing off over years. And obviously, depending on your tax bracket and all that, and in the early years, you need your cash flow.
Sure.
And so I just think that's a wonderful service that you guys provide. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody here was clear on what that is that y'all do, and what a benefit that could be for folks.
Yeah. So that's probably the lion's share of what I do. And then there's some other initiatives that are kind of stacked around that can either help building owners save money or make money in a number of areas.
Okay.
So,
well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure.
One of the things that I wanted to share, Claudia, I'm going to let you give an update on what's going on in the wealth building world, and then we'll talk about where we are on that. Go ahead.
Well, nothing much has changed with Cash FX. We're still waiting to hear. I know they are testing that debit card, so hopefully that's going to be released soon, and we'll be able to pull some money out of it. Novatech has been as steady as can be. We had another great week last week. Probably maybe just under 3%, but still a great return. And yeah, I know you had mentioned that they were working on a system where we wouldn't have to do our weekly updates anymore. They would do that automatically, and you can select what percentage you wanted to roll over and what percentage you might want to pull out yourself. I'm actually anxious to see that, because Fridays are difficult, because I put somebody in today, and I had helped somebody else do an upgrade today, early this morning, and the system is so slow on Fridays.
It's because you've got millions of people out there knowing it's payday, and they're trying to move their money.
Exactly.
It is.
I'm fortunate. I did mine at about 5:30 this morning, so I was okay. It wasn't too slow, but by the time I started helping other people around 8 o'clock, it was slow as molasses. But I mean, it still works. Just a little bit of patience.
Yeah.
It's not much you can do.
And something that I thought also on that I think I discovered last week, it seemed like my number was off compared to what the total for the week was. Let's just say if I was supposed to be making 3%, when I calculated mine, it might have been, for that portion, it might have been 2.97 or something. Well, I think what happened was I waited, Friday we get our trading profits from Novatech. Saturday we get our commissions. And because it's been so busy, I've been waiting till either late Saturday or Sunday to do the money transfer and just do it one time. So what I'm thinking is it's probably decreased my earnings because I did not do it. You know what I'm saying? I missed a day or two, a little bit of earnings. That's kind of what I've come up with in my mind. That's probably the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. My understanding was always that they don't trade on Saturdays and Sundays. So,
Well, and that's possibly, it was just really odd because normally we make way over. So I never worry about that calculation, but this time I decided to pull it out. And now I do the dollar amounts. We made this much in trading, this much in commissions, this much total. And then this is what our ROI is for the week. But this time I just divided that out for the trading, and it was a little bit off. So I might be mistaken. I don't know. But
No, last week, Nancy was off a little bit, but it's back up again this week.
yeah, it was a little bit below 3% last week.
Yeah. Well, whatever it was supposed to have been, that's what I calculated. And my number was just a little bit off. And it was weird on like I do about 4 or 5 counts for folks because they're scared to do it. And so I handle that. And so it was interesting. One of those was right on track, and one was a little bit over. And then a couple of our accounts was a little bit under. So it was just kind of weird how that worked out. And I'm going to check it again this week. But
Well, is it maybe depending on when they take that, whatever, $25 a month out?
no, that one didn't happen this week for us. But anyways, I don't know. It was fractional, but you know me, I mean, over time fractions turn in. Look at the gas, you're paying gas in fractions of pennies, and that adds up over time to millions of dollars. So I just want to make sure that I'm doing, if I need to do it on Friday and Saturday, I will, because I don't want to be losing any money instead of just doing it one time. But the exciting portion was we're over our 100% in Novatech. Now, when the pig group started, we were almost, I think we were like at 80-something% then. And then we added their money in. So of course it took longer than to get back up to the 100%, but we were at like 107%. And so I have requested, this is the first time I've requested any money coming out of our trading account. And it says 7, I think, to 14 days that it takes, because the money is in, it's out there being traded. So it takes a while. And so inside, you need to make sure that you're inside the Facebook group for the pig group. And we need to figure out where we want to put that $3,000. And we've got several different options. We've got automated capital, which is a new one. It's very similar to Novatech. And we have Daisy, the 4X portion, the one that they've got like in 4 months, they were over 100%. So they've been doing gangbusters. They've not had a losing month yet. And that's the other portion of Daisy. And then yesterday, if you've not watched the video with Angela, she did a fantastic job. And now Komhlatech has a different option. It's not copy trading anymore. They actually will do it all. And this is options trading in commodities. And they use index funds. And the minimum is $5,000. And we can do that a variety of ways. And she did the calculation. She showed the spreadsheet on the video. We could literally turn one $5,000 contract into 31 $5,000 contracts in 24 months. If we just kept rolling over the earnings, and every time we got another 5,000 in the account, we would buy another contract. And they have averaged 70 or 80% a year. I'll have to look at the numbers to be exact, but anyways, so when she did her calculations, she did it based on 48% a year. So she went way less to err on the conservative side at 4% a month. And that was still amazing that we could, turn a $5,000 contract into 31 of those. And so that's exciting. So that's another option. And then I think what else that we have that's outstanding. So I'm open we have, 14 days, which if we would get everybody to turn in whatever projects they want us to consider for that, then on that Friday, the first Friday of the month, we can take a vote, and I can use a Google sheet, or we can do it here on Zoom or whatever, because I want everybody to vote on that, on where we put this money. And some people had kind of mentioned they didn't want to really pull it out of Novatech. And so I want to clear that up. Here's the deal. We're wanting to minimize our risk. Yes, Novatech is a darling. It's probably my favorite one right now. But folks, we're at 100%. We need to minimize our risk. So let's do what we said we're going to do and pull that out and fund another project. If Novatech keeps on performing like it's been performing, we can do this 2 more times before the end of the year. So we could have 2, 3, 4, depending on how much money we make, we can do this again. So this is about $3,000. And then by the time they take their fees and everything out, we'll see what that is. But we could fund more projects just with the earnings. And so when we end the year, we could have 10 projects that we've got going, making money for us. And so that's the goal. Yes, it's doing great, but we don't want to just let that thing just sit there and fester in case something did happen down the line. So I just wanted to kind of explain myself on that and why we're doing it. On some, we may want to take money out as we go along, but on this one, it's been consistent. We haven't had to worry. And so I just thought, now is the time. We're over 100%. Let's go ahead and do that. And of course, we could also, I forgot about Cash FX. We could probably use a portion of that to upgrade, but I really would like to wait to do anything else with Cash FX, just personally, until they get all this stuff figured out and we can withdraw our money. And then Komhlatech, Karbon is sitting there, and you want to talk about that one a little bit? And then I agree. I think I'm going to do the same thing that you had sent me, Claudio.
Yeah, we have instructions on what we need to do to update it. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to do it. This coming week is just going to be insane until about Friday again. We're not going to be home most of the week, so I'm going to have to wait till I get back for that. But Kate, did you end up doing? I think you had mentioned that you did some of that, because I know I sent you and Richard Morton the same email.
What?
Or maybe.
So I actually got on. I got on some of the webinars, and I've been getting some updates. And there was a really, really big one this week that he was kind of holding off even sharing, but apparently the information was kind of leaking out. They've created their own coin. And
yeah, they've been talking about doing that for a while.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot to it. The recorded video you have to listen to. It's massive.
Okay. Well, it's kind of going to make us owners of, part owners, kind of like shares in a company.
Yep.
with Karbon, and we're in on the bottom, on the bottom line of that. But the main thing that I'm talking about is Karbon Elite is supposed to be a hands-off, set it and forget it opportunity, making big money. And because the markets went kind of crazy, they held off. We thought they were going to do it at this time, and they held off for a while, understandably, because the markets were crazy. Well, once they started doing it, everybody, a big majority of those folks are actual traders. And so they're actually doing this all day long. That's not what we're about. We're going to give you our money. We're going to set this thing up, very minimal hands-on. And so I got frustrated, and there was some issues when they started, which there always is in the beginning. And so I just kept our money in our account and didn't touch it, didn't do nothing with it. It's just been sitting there. Okay. Not earning, but not losing either, where some of them had lost in some trades and stuff. And so Claudio reached out, as I did, with that. And you want to tell them kind of what they said?
Basically, they said that there were certain things that had to be due to set up the connecting Bybit again, which is our e-wallet, to the new indicators, I believe, and then they take over and they set everything up, and then it'll start trading again.
And we thought there was going to be a $200 charge, which I was willing to eat that and pay that myself just to get them to do it. Because again, that's what I was going to do. Well, that's not the case. They
Yeah.
said they would do it anyways. I mean,
No, so there's confusion because that group didn't just contain elite members. The reason that that Telegram group has been so confusing, and I actually brought it up in the meeting the other day, is that they had the people that are doing it and the new elite people in the same group. So it created a tremendous amount of confusion. Like I didn't know which way it was up, and I did do got the stuff in there, and
well,
it
I
wasn't.
think I did too in the very
And I-
beginning, but it was just
I
like,
just moved it all out so that I'm going to put it into the new hybrid because that's where it's actually working.
okay.
So I moved my money out of the sub account back to the main account, and I'm creating a new sub account and connecting it to the hybrid.
Okay. Well, I may need to get with you. I talked to Angela yesterday and she's going to help as well. But you know, that's the whole point of all of these cash machines that we're building. I'm not going to be sitting monitoring trading accounts. You know, we want to just set it and forget it and making money for us because we want a lot of those, you know?
Yeah.
And, so anyway, so that's kind of the update on that. And, you know, I know some people, there was a couple of people in particular that, you know, they had sent me a message, it's been sitting there for a while, not doing anything. That's kind of a long time. Well, there's reasons behind that. Would you rather me, you know, get in there and lose money right out of the gate and do all of that stuff, or be a little bit err on the cautious? And this is one of those accounts that's expected to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think in the long term, you know, we're going to be a-okay, fine. But it's
Yeah.
just, you know, getting over this initial hump because it's a new thing that they're doing.
Yeah, and Kevin he's basically a one-man show. I mean, he's got a big team behind him, but he's the brains behind the whole thing. And I know it can be overwhelming because they're trying to do so many different things, but I think once it is all set and done, it's going to be a big one. Yeah, I'm really excited
Yeah.
about it. So
Yeah.
I can't believe how many projects he's got on the go. I'm like, no wonder he hasn't been in touch because it's like way too much. So just so you know, the coin is available to us. There's some stuff that you have to do so that you can actually get in and purchase some of that.
Okay.
So I'm going to work on that this afternoon myself. So
All right. Jerry,
Good.
You're on
I'm
mute.
good. I'm good
Okay.
for now.
okay. I
Thank
thought
you.
I thought I saw your hand up.
But this
All right.
this is similar to the iFlip platform with artificial intelligence. It's just they said that because of the way the market is, the platform isn't doing anything because it's reading the market and saying this is not a good time to get in, so type of thing. So that's the Karbon's got the same type of AI. So it's just, you know, until the market really changes, it's not going to be doing a whole lot of trading.
Right. And when we want to be, you know, yeah, we understand there's risk involved with all of this, but we want to be as smart as possible and not be doing anything, you know, crazy. And usually, like I said, in the very beginning of these things, there's going to be hiccups along the way. So I just opted to, let's just hold off for a couple of weeks, see what's going on until they get everything straightened out, and then go from there. All right. Remember that today is payday on that. So anybody who has a Novatech account, you need to move your money over if you don't have anybody underneath you. And if, like I said, if it's slow and you don't want to deal with that, just wait till Saturday afternoon late or Sunday. And I haven't had any issues when I've been doing it on those days. It goes right through. But if you're seeing a little lag time or whatever when you're doing that, that's what it is, because they've got millions of people that they are, you know, in there trying to move money around. And if you've not got on the Telegram group, you know, if you want to get information on that. Also, if you need a refresher on how to move your money, I made a little video on how to cash out and to move money into your PAM account from the bonus account. And that's on our YouTube channel. So I did that last week, just as a little refresher. And then let me think if there's anything else.
Send a beneficiary form to you.
Oh, yes. I've got to have that, y'all. I mentioned that a while back and then didn't follow up on it. And now I'm going to beat you to death to get that in, because anything can happen. I don't want to have to guess where you would want your money to go. And so and it doesn't have to be notarized. It doesn't have to be, because this is me. I'm just going to print these out. I'm going to put it in my red notebook, and then I'm putting it on a red file on my computer, so that if something happens to me or something happens to you, whoever's taking over my stuff, they'll know who's going to get your money. That's it. Now, I will suggest though, however, for, let's just say if something happened to you, you've got a Novatech account or another account, how do they know what to do with your money? So you need to have something available in your affairs legally, whatever that's going to look like, probably a notarized statement, so that your family member could turn that into these projects or whatever. I don't know what the legal remedy is, because I think they should have something on each one of these platforms for that. I don't know why they don't.
What they're leaving it up to each individual member is, you're going to document your account login and password and everything in your will or in your trust or something, so that your relatives would then log into your account and initiate the withdrawal or transfer. That's what they're kind of leaving it up to you guys to do.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's one of the things that besides sending you the beneficiary form for our account with the pig group, we each need to document every one of our accounts and have those with our important paperwork.
Yes, that's a great idea. So make sure you do that, because we are not guaranteed of tomorrow. We just have today. So if you've not done that, make sure that you've done that.
No, I did send you mine. I don't know.
Okay.
Hoping it didn't go into the spam folder.
No, and then that's the other thing that I realized, for some reason on that Global Pig Ventures email, it wouldn't let me like send another, said I'd reached my quota. And I'm like, didn't say nothing about having a quota on my domain about how many emails I could send or whatever. So I've got to go and take a look at that.
Nancy, where do we get that form?
I sent you just a blank attachment to your email, and you can just copy that. Just mainly, I'll have your email up there showing where it came from. And you just need to let me know who would be your person.
Yeah, it was just like a image snapshot that Nancy sent. So I used that as a template and just made a quick little Word document and, wrote it up and sent it to her.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't need anything notarized or anything like that. I just want something on file. And then that way my folks will know what to do with it.
Okay. And when was that email sent out approximately?
Oh, few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago.
Thanks.
But it should have came from Nancy at globalpigventures.com, because that's a new email that I'm trying to do just for the pig group.
Yeah, it came out on August 20th.
All right. Hi, Sophia, go ahead.
Okay. Did we need to redo it? I did it and send it in on the old email. Do I need to redo it again?
No, I will forward it over to that email. I'll make sure that I received it.
Okay. And if it's not clear, let me know if I still need to redo it. Because I tried to make a PDF and then fill in on the same document and everything. So some of the words overlapped some of the other statements. So yeah.
Okay. I'll check that. Anything else?
So just curious, do you have anything? Occasionally we might have a 5th Friday in the month. You got anything in mind for that?
No, I'm going to leave that open. I forgot to discuss that when we were discussing that earlier. We can think on that and come up with something.
Yeah. And next week is when you're wanting to talk about the divvying up of the funds on what to invest in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And I probably, I've got a couple of people that might be coming in and giving us a little, subject matter expert, not clarified on that yet. So, the voting won't take very long
And you
at
were,
all.
and you were kind of backing off on the co-op 50/50 platform. Is
Oh,
that?
totally disregard that email.
Yeah.
Totally delete that. Delete. I couldn't resend it. I couldn't do anything. I had sent their customer service some stuff. Didn't I do that? Oh, I did get a refund, by the way.
Yay.
Shock. So anyways, delete that one. That was off the table. So any projects or anything that you would like for us to look at, make sure that you send that over. And then if anybody wants to get in at the August special, the 50% off, they need to do it before September the 1st, because I'm going to a whole new model. Not just, I told you we're going to go to the two times a year situation, but here's what I'm looking at. And all of you are grandfathered in. So whatever you got in at, that all stays the same. So yours is not going to change. Okay. But with the new model, here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be $125 down to start. That's your $125 a year plus 30, 50, or 100. But here's the difference. It's 30, 50, or 100 a month from this point forward, and 80% will go to the pig and 20% will be operating expenses for me to operate on, because otherwise I'm going in the red. I have been going in the red for months and months and months. And so I had to come up with a way to pay for everything that I'm wanting to do for us until we get things built up. So again, you will be exempt. Any member that comes in before then, and you guys have been, you know who you are, you've been grandfathered in at the prices. So we're only going to have, you will have one time a year where you'll have to pay. It'll be the same. But everybody else from this point forward, they will be on $125 a year plus $30, $50, or $100 a month. And they can change that, or there will be a discount if they pay up front. 80%. Now here's, I want to be clear on this. Okay. 80% is going to go into a pig fund for us to use. 20% will be operating expenses, but you will get credit for 100% of what you send in. So if you send in 30, you get credit for 30, but know that 80% of that is going to be actually going to fund a project. The other is going to be going towards my operating expenses. So
How are you gonna track that for, like?
it'll be the same as what I was doing before, because I give y'all 100%, no matter whether it's 30, 50, or 100. I've given you credit. We just use as expenses like PayPal fees and anything that come out of that, because I got people from all over sending. So like yours, your PayPal fee might have been $1.95. Gary's might have been 39 cents, depending on where you are and you sent it to me. So I just use that as an operating expense.
So is that 80/20 split on just the monthly fees, or also the annual 125? I was thinking that the 125 should be split out, and that would be, like all 100% of that going to your operating.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. $125 a year will be totally operating expenses. And instead of, it's dues, the dues will stay the same, 30, 50, or 100, depending on your budget. Only I'm not putting 100% of that into a project anymore. I can only do 80%.
Yeah.
And then, out of that 80% will also be, if there's crypto fees and all of that stuff, that's part of that 80%. But I've got to have some operating money to do what we need to do. I mean, we've got the website, we've got a lot of other stuff that's, that needs to happen.
And that's the other question I had is I don't think anybody's really utilizing the website.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping in September, when I do this push for new members, that money will give me some opportunity to do some advertising for new members. And I'm hoping I'll have enough that I'll take care of that and really start promoting using that website. If not, we'll just have to let it go, because it's a $500 a year or whatever it was, close to $500 a year. And the whole point was So you could write off your whole entire membership as marketing and advertising, even though we're doing the pig and everything. I wanted you to be able to fully write that off. And one of the things that you were using was that website as
Well,
part of your marketing and promotion.
You
So
can
that was-
technically write off everything that we're doing just as a subscription expense,
Yes.
like a membership subscription expense. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
You could. I'm just, I want to help y'all out as well as
but
me.
yeah, that's an added benefit, member benefit that
And
people
it
just aren't
increases your,
doing.
if you'll look, it increases your ratings on Google. I mean, you're listed on Google. If you're on that website, it's going to show up on the Google rankings.
Yeah,
And people don't realize that.
I think we may have to get together and do a little campaign push on
Yep.
doing that.
Right. All right. Well, I think that do y'all have any questions on that or any fussing that you want to do about that? Or are y'all clear and understand why I'm doing that? I can't continue to work for free. It's been
No, it's like
almost 3 years now. So
it's about friggin' time, Nancy.
I know, right? And my husband had mentioned something. He said, well, you're not getting that till the end, right? That, the 85% on revenue share and royalty and all these different projects. So it might go 10 years and you don't get paid. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. I got to fix that. But anyhow, well, all right. I'm going to let us off here a couple of minutes early. It's 12:55. Thank y'all very much for joining us again today, and look forward to y'all having a wonderful weekend and seeing y'all next week.
Thank you, Nancy.
Care.
Thanks, Nancy.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone. Have a
Bye.
great weekend.
Bye, everyone.
You all too.